What is going on, guys? It's the Inside the Blue podcast, and today we have a Rangers playoff video. Of course, we all know the news. It's been a little late since I've recorded a Rangers video. Only was really able to break down the preview, but now we got all four games in, and that's all that was needed. The New York Rangers took care of business against a very bad Washington Capitals team, kind of a team that really didn't belong in the playoffs, but tried their best, snuck in. Of course, we all know the situation. I don't have to break down that situation. If you want to see that breakdown, kind of watch the preview of how they got into the playoffs and why they really weren't a strong team. I mean, that's an older Washington Capitals team that, is built okay, but there are a lot of flaws in that team, and it showed in the series. I mean, they were slow. They really couldn't catch up to the New York Rangers. Rangers kind of just walked all over them, especially at home, and then they go into Washington. You may see like, oh, maybe they're going to take a game or two and head back to the Garden, but Rangers got it done in four games. My bad on the mic. 4 games. That's all the Rangers needed to defeat the Capitals. And I mean, I think I had this series in 5 games, or maybe even 6. I don't know. I didn't really see it going very long. I thought 6 was maybe a reach. If it did get to that long, I'd be a little concerned with this team, especially who they're playing against in this round. Of course, the New York Islanders could not get kind of the dream New York fans wanted and have a Rangers versus Islanders playoffs. It's going to be the Canes again. Last time these two teams met was in 2022, where the Rangers defeated them in 7 games. Of course, the big bright spot was Filipino. We don't know his update, if he's going to play or not. Laviolette kind of just said, I'm not really releasing my lineup results or who's going to be in, who's going to be out. And I think, in my opinion, if I had to take a guess today, it'd be a little shocking to see him in this series, but I think if they do get to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think we could very well see Filipino there at the latest. He has been skating, and he has been skating with the team. He hasn't been doing like private workouts, on the ice by himself. So that's a good start to see out of Filipino, a guy who's had a lot of concussion history, and he's a good player too. I mean, I'm pretty sure he had 6 assists in the first 6 games or so. So I mean, that was a really good start for him. But it sucks to not see him in the lineup. I mean, he's a really good player. But anyways, getting back to the series, um, what else is there really to say about the Washington Capitals? Where do they go from here? Where does Ovechkin go from here? Because he had a very quiet series. I thought Ovechkin was gonna be a guy that kind of tried to do everything he could to win a game or two, or really just extend the series. He gets called out by Spencer Carberry, how he's not playing hard enough and he's not getting the Ovechkin that he needs. And that's kind of why this series went only 4 games. I mean, Ovechkin was off the score sheet every single game. He did not record a single point. I'm pretty sure there was a game where he went shotless. He didn't even get a shot on Igor Shesterkin. We'll get into Igor Shesterkin in a moment. But, I mean, props to the Rangers. They had a plan and they executed it. Not getting Ovechkin on the score sheet is huge. And they really settled in nicely. I said it in the preview that this Rangers team has to come out hot and show why they are the President's Trophy winner and one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And they showed that. They took care of business in 4. They had a few days off because the Islanders ended up taking a game from the Carolina Hurricanes to extend the series just a few days more. And maybe that plays into a series. Maybe that doesn't. I mean, we know Carolina, they're a hot team. They're a team that's not old. They have guys that can zoom up and down the ice, of course. They got Jake Gensel, too, and Evgeny Kuznetsov at the trade deadline. Kind of two players who have performed in the playoffs before. And kind of getting to them, really, before we even really get into the series alone, they're good players, man. I mean, we look at their numbers. Jake Gensel has recorded a point in every single playoff game he's played against the New York Rangers. And Evgeny Kuznetsov has had a few points in his career, dating back to that 2015 series. But if I said that I wasn't concerned with Jake Gensel going on the score sheet, I think I'd be wrong. Because I think it's kind of a guarantee you're going to see him on the score sheet he's just such a talented player, and to see Carolina go out and get a guy like Jake Gensel just shows how committed they are to trying to get a Stanley Cup. It's been a bit since they've won a Stanley Cup, since the Rod Brind'Amour era, when he was still playing. And Laviolette was the head coach at that time. They haven't been able to get to the Stanley Cup finals. I mean, I really think the Eastern Conference finals, or the Eastern Conference three teams that you have to watch out for is the Rangers, Panthers, and Canes. I think those three teams, one of those three are going to get there this year. And with this Washington Capitals team, they are no Carolina Hurricanes. I think if the Carolina Hurricanes played these guys in the first round, it would be done in 4 as well. And the thing is that I always have a concern with this New York Rangers team is their even strength play, and that's going to be a huge factor in this series if they can get going on even strength. I mean, half their goals were at on the power play, less half occurring on even strength. Most of their shots on goal were at even strength, but pretty much all their goals were on the power play. And now I think the only thing you can take away from the Carolina Islanders series is that the Islanders got the Canes into penalty trouble, and it did help the Islanders a bit. I mean, they went 27% at the power play spot, and the Islanders were a team that kind of struggled in the regular season trying to convert on the power play, and to do that against a Carolina team makes me very confident that the Rangers can really take it to them. When the Canes get in penalty kill trouble, because we all know both teams are going to take penalties. No matter who the refs are, there are going to be penalties in this series, and it's really just how both teams capitalize. Do the Rangers really keep that power play going that's been outstanding this year and in the playoffs? I mean, it was at 30, I believe 37% in the 37.5%, and they won the game in 4. So I mean, a really hot power play, and just really, really good start. Really good start for them, right? I mean, that's what this team needed. And now they head into a Carolina series where it's going to be loud. We all know Raleigh. It's a very popular place to play at, and these two teams have had really good battles and close battles, except for the one at Madison Square Garden where the Canes kind of took it to them. I believe they won that game 6-1. So I think when you're the New York Rangers, right, you gotta really just be on your toes. That's really how I see this series. I think that this team can compete with Carolina. I think they have been all year long, and getting really to my things to watch for this Carolina series is, like I said before, this is a playoff team and a Stanley Cup contender. The Capitals had no business to be a playoff team. Nose is getting money. But yeah, I mean, they're a Stanley Cup contender team, and they're going to be the best team the Rangers play for now. And if they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals and take on the team, whether it's Florida or the winner of Toronto and Boston, in my opinion, I expect Boston to win that series. And I look at this. I look at Florida and Boston. I think those two teams can very well get to the Eastern Conference Final and win. I think they can definitely beat the Rangers, and I think they could beat the Carolina Hurricanes. But it's really who is going to be the better team that day. And I think another thing I have to say for this Rangers offense is to not be too reliant on the power play. I think this Rangers squad all season long and all playoffs long, whether it's from this year, last year, or the year before, they just love being upper man, and they do a really good job at it. You got to give them credit, but they're just such a solid team at power plays. I mean, they practice it all the time, and I wouldn't say it's a guarantee, but it's a very high probability that the Rangers are going to score on you because they just have so many weapons. With Mika Zibanejad, Artemi Panarin, Fox at the blue line, Kreider being able to tip the puck wherever you shoot it, and even Vinny Trocheck. I think he had an amazing series against Washington, and now he's taking on his former team. And when the media told him, you're playing Carolina, your former team, what are you expecting? He says, it's just another team. That's a dog. Rangers got some dogs on their team, and they got to give it to Carolina, man, because Carolina's a team. I don't care how much they're down, they will not put on the brakes, and they did it against the Islanders. The Islanders took on the brakes and let off for a bit, and Carolina gave it to them. They scored 2 goals in 10 seconds. And I thought Varlamov was amazing in that series. He made a lot of key saves, and I think kind of the reason why the Islanders couldn't get it to him is they couldn't score enough, and that's hopefully not going to be an issue with the Rangers because Carolina is such a deep team. I mean, up and down the lineup, they got guys like Aho, they got guys like Teravainen, Stahl, proven playoff performers, and these two teams always have battles. Going back from the bubble series, the Carolina Hurricanes had the better team, and now the Rangers have built up their team that can compete with any team in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. So props to Chris Drury for that. Seth Jarvis is their point leader. Kind of surprising in my opinion. I thought it'd be Sebastian Aho or Andrei Svechnikov, but of course those 3 guys I named are very good scorers. So I think with the Rangers, they cannot collapse on the defensive structure. I think it looked pretty good in most games against Washington. I think 2 and 4 they got outshot. I got to look back at that stat. But, I think those 3 guys I just mentioned are the guys to watch in this series. I think, of course, can't rule out Brent Burns and Jacob Slavin, probably one of the best duos on the blue line remaining in this playoffs. I think they are so dominant. Jacob Slavin's one of the best defensive defensemen. I know he just got nominated for the Lady Byng as a finalist along with Austin Matthews. So, I mean, it's really going to be a close series, and I don't really know how many games it's going to go, but I hope the Rangers dominate. And I think if you're a Hurricanes fan, you have to pray that they stay out of the penalty box, because if they're taking 3 to 4 penalties a night, Rangers could connect on 1 or 2 of them, and that could be a difference in games. I mean, it seems to be with the Rangers, they're a very good home team, but I think they're an even better road team. So it really doesn't matter whether they're playing in Madison Square Garden or Raleigh, Carolina. So I think that's another aspect that makes the Rangers such a dominant team. And getting to the goaltenders now, we haven't even mentioned Igor Shesterkin in this podcast or Freddie Anderson. Both had really solid series, and the Rangers have gotten the Igor Shesterkin at the right time. They got a red-hot goaltender who has been amazing since the All-Star break. He's had 4 shutouts. He just swept the Washington Capitals. He made timely saves when he had to make them, and he looked very comfortable in net. And Carolina's a team that is going to get in on Shesterkin easily. They know he stole a series from them back in 2022 where Shesterkin was lights out. And I expect Igor Shesterkin to be the dominant goaltender again. Freddie Anderson, of course, he did not play in that 2022 series. It was Peter Kochekov and Antti Ranta. So, new look for the Rangers to take on Freddie Anderson, and expect Freddie Anderson to play well. Anderson usually plays pretty well against the New York Rangers, whether it's in the regular season or the postseason, but this team could score. And I think a main scorer I can see in this series is Artemi Panarin. I think Artemi Panarin this season has the best shot on the team. I don't think it's Mika Zibanejad's one-timer. I think it's Artemi Panarin's snapshot, wrist shot, and his one-timer has overtaken as probably the best scorer on this team. Because now he's got that shooting first mentality. He was passing up a lot of shots last year. He said he wanted to score more goals, and he put up 40 plus. The guy had over 100 points this season, and has shown why he should be a Hart nominee, but I don't think he's going to get it. I think it's going to be Kucherov, McKinnon, and Matthews or McDavid, one of those guys. But In terms of my takeaways for this series is really shut down their top guys. They have a great coaching staff and have some fun, man. It's gonna be a fun series. It's gonna be a war. I think this series is like the comparison to Dallas versus Vegas. Kind of whoever wins this series has probably the best chance to make it to the Cup, because we know this series is gonna go 6 games. I think at the bare minimum, unless there is a completely departure in play, like one of these teams just completely falls apart and can't get anything going. But I think this Rangers team's coming in hot. I think this Carolina team took care of a weak playoff team. So I think both of these two teams are coming off playoff series wins, but not to a very, I guess, a big like surprise, right? I think we kind of expected the Rangers to defeat the Capitals. We lose in 4 or 5 games in Carolina and kind of 4 or 5, maybe 6 games. I did have the Islanders winning that series. It was really just to see what people would feel about it. I kind of expected after game one that we were going to take on Carolina, because I just know Carolina kind of has had the Islanders number in past seasons. They defeated them again, previous years before, and the Islanders haven't really had an answer for Carolina. But kind of to wrap this podcast up, first off, I want to appreciate all of you guys for sticking to it. I know sometimes these videos do come out a little late, so I do appreciate you guys watching these videos. Of course, we've hit over 100 subscribers. The road is to 200. So yeah, I think to wrap this podcast up and to really wrap this series preview up and Capitals post series, Rangers are a dominant team. Carolina's a dominant team. This is going to be a dogfight. And I think with these two teams coming in hot, it makes the series even more enjoyable. Got two really solid goaltenders that have proved themselves in the playoffs before. Two really solid coaching staffs that have really brought the best out of their players every single night. And yeah, that's really going to do it for this podcast. Of course, Rangers podcast, playoffs, baby. This is playoffs. This is where you get out of your seat and you start rooting for these guys, man. But anyways, guys, this has been the Inside the Boot podcast. And of course, this has been another Rangers playoff video. Of course, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I appreciate it all. Leave a comment below on what your thoughts of this series could possibly be and how many games the Rangers would win. Or if you're a Carolina fan, how many games you guys would win. And of course, hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload as well. But that's going to do it for this podcast, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.